Oh, no.
Gravity.
All right, so it's late. We're talking about the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
It's like 12. It's like 12:30. It's been a while since we've been this late at night doing
To an
this.
almost actual midnight screening.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what'd you think of the Magnificent Seven?
To be fair, it had aspects that I thought were good.
Mm-hmm.
There are likable things about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, as a whole, it did not work for me.
I mean, I agree in the sense that there's aspects that didn't work for me either, but the movie it's a Hollywood Western in the classic sense.
Oh, and that's exactly
is.
what it is. And that's what doesn't work for me because I don't like Hollywood Westerns in the...
Mm-hmm. But
I don't.
This honestly, I think is a better film than the Yul Brynner one.
I won't disagree with you.
I actually do like this one better.
No, and I won't disagree with you on that because I fucking loathe the Yul Brynner one. But no, it was the type of Hollywood movie that is just kind of like, I like my Westerns a little grittier.
This movie got pretty gritty. I mean, more so than...
This movie got violent. I don't think it ever got gritty.
Well, gritty in the sense... It was doing a couple of different things. Like, it was a classic Hollywood Western in the sense of some of the characters and the one-liners they would have, and some of the smarm they would have. Also, a lot of the cinematography, the musical score, definitely.
Well, they pulled some of the music from the Yul
exactly.
Brynner one. And in this one, it really did not fit.
I don't know. I thought it fit along with the tone of a majority of it. But then there would be times when it got violent like the Wild Bunch. Like, it was kind of... more often than not, it really was kind of that more so Hollywood-style Western. But then there would be times, whether it's in close-ups or people just getting blown away, that it would be like a much more violent Western.
Well, really the impression I got was that Antoine Fuqua was like, I'm making the only Western I'm ever going to make, so fuck it. I'm going to, like, do everything I've ever seen in a Western that I liked.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
From doing, like, you know, the kind of characters from the classic Hollywood Western to trying to do some of the spaghetti Western type close-ups and, you know, trying to pull some Sergio Leone shit, which...
I didn't mind that, though.
You never mind a good Sergio Leone type shot. Like, that's great, but...
Yeah,
But doing it, like, Sergio Leone always did it with, like, characters that are just actors that had such unique features and stuff. So, like, seeing him do it with Chris Pratt, and it's just, like, it's not nearly as effective.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it isn't totally straightforward, just a spaghetti Western. It just has a couple elements here and there that are kind of like that. Chris Pratt really is the kind of actor who belongs in this kind of Western.
Oh, no, absolutely. And he was fun and charming. I can't... But at the same time, too, he was playing the Western version of Star-Lord. That's really what he was doing in this. Which, it's fine, but I personally think he's a better actor than to get stuck in the one kind of role.
I mean, what I like about that in this is that, and I know people get killed in the original one too, but what I kind of liked about this was that it certainly did have the setup of a much brighter Western, but when it gets to the climax, like, there are people in this movie that you've liked and have kind of rooted for throughout a majority of the film that will just up and get blown away at the end of this, like it's the Wild Bunch. I kind of liked that it was sort of playing with different Western styles, but overall it was way more like the style of Western than the Magnificent Seven than it was a Sergio Leone film or the Wild Bunch or something like that.
And that was part of my problem with the movie, is that they were jumping jumping tone or jumping
Mm-hmm.
what he was trying to do so often that to me it was more. It was like, just fucking pick one, dude. You know?
I guess I didn't bother me so much here.
It bothered me greatly.
Mainly because because then it just would have been exactly like the original one. And this isn't exactly like the original film. So I guess I kind of like that it did get a little darker at times. Like, it never turns into, like, Django Unchained or anything like that.
No, and I didn't expect that, but I was honestly hoping for something with a Western. Honestly, I was hoping for something more along the lines of tone-wise of like Unforgiven.
In this,
I was hoping. From the trailers, I didn't even expect it. But
no,
I was hoping.
No.
Because I think that would have been a good middle ground, you know?
It would have been a completely different. I mean, don't get me wrong, Unforgiven is a way better movie than this. But that would have certainly made it a wildly different film.
No, yeah, it would have. It would have been. I'm just saying, it's something I would have enjoyed more. Not that I expected it from this,
Well,
or I'm overly disappointed that it wasn't that. But
mhm.
I didn't really enjoy this movie that much.
I don't mind that they went this direction with it being tonally more or less like the original. Although, like I said, I think this is a better movie. Because we still get westerns every now and then nowadays, but most of them, by and large, are pretty dark now. They are stuff like Unforgiven or Django Unchained or The Hateful Eight or something like that. Like, this I was kind of enjoying as sort of a throwback movie, and while I agree in the sense that that's not my favorite kind of western at all. My kind of western are the spaghetti westerns, stuff like Cutthroats 9 and things like that. But this is very much like it's a dad western, and I enjoy it in the sense that this is the kind of movie that I'd watch with my dad.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I don't even hate the original Magnificent Seven, because while it's not one of my favorite westerns, it's not even something I revisit. I don't hate it because it's like if I were to watch that movie, I'd be watching it with my dad and we'd have a pretty good time watching it. Now, me personally, if I'm going to sit down and watch one of those ensemble movies like that of that time, I'm watching something like Kelly's Heroes or The Great Escape or something like that. Really never The Magnificent Seven, but I do appreciate it as something that, like, oh yeah, me and my dad would watch this and like and be entertained. And I honestly feel that way about this movie too.
Yeah, and I don't have that connection to it. I can keep bitching about this movie, but let's talk about a couple of the good things in it.
No, it does. The acting is solid.
The acting's really solid. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's just like he picked a character and they're like too afraid to tell him no.
And so he went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he absolutely went with it.
And his fighting move was tackle then stab, which was kind of amazing.
Yeah. He's just gonna bum rush someone like he's Bald Bull and just stab him with a knife and a hatchet. I loved Peter Sarsgaard in this.
I love Peter Sarsgaard in fucking everything.
Me too.
He's one of those dudes that's just kind of like, man, you get shortchanged on the movies you're in all the time, but you're always like usually one of the best parts.
He's one of the best parts. He was playing like he was in a spaghetti western in this. He's the villain in the movie, and he's fucking great. Whenever he's on screen, it's legitimately kind of terrifying. He's playing this part as if he's an ancestor of Gary Oldman's character from Leon the Professional.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, no, he's one of those actors that I honestly, earnestly always am happy to see in something.
Yeah, same here.
He was the best part of Green Lantern, and that's a terrible movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, yeah. He was the best part of that third season of The Killing.
Oh.
And he's in the opening scene of this, and then it goes for like an hour before he turns up in it again. But when he turns up in it again, He is great in this. Like he's one of my favorite parts of the movie. You're right. Chris Pratt's doing the Chris Pratt movie thing, of course. But he's still got some good one-liners in it.
No, he does, and it's like Chris Pratt's an actor I enjoy enough that I look forward to when people stop casting him in that specific role and he gets to do something a little more.
I liked him in this way better than I did in Jurassic World, but that's
Jurassic World was. This movie was better than Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I didn't like this movie, so like, there's nothing about this movie that's inherently terrible or poorly done per se. It's just I thought it was too much. Hey, let's throw every Western into a blender and
it's getting dark out. There were a couple things about it where I was like, really, we're doing this again. Like Ethan Hawke's character in the movie, and Ethan Hawke is really good in this. Yeah. And at first, it's setting up this pretty good backstory for him, where he was in the war. He has like PTSD. He's kind of afraid to fire his weapon now. But it does the thing where he leaves because he doesn't think he can do it. He leaves, says his goodbyes and everything. And you know what's going to happen.
You know he's coming back. Yeah.
You know he's going to come back at just the right moment, like he's Han Solo. And that's exactly what happens in this film. I wasn't excited about seeing that cliche again.
No, no, that wasn't great. There's some... Man, I'm gonna get some shit for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like, for me, one of the most distracting parts about this movie was sitting down through the entire thing, knowing it was gonna happen, full well sitting down, going in was... It was really distracting to me, personally, watching a Western with the very politically correct multiracial cast. It was weird, man.
It didn't,
and it's not that I don't think that, like, anybody in the movie was bad or bad in their roles, or there isn't a part in a lot of movies for characters like that, or to have... There should be more racial diversity in movies, but it's really weird to see it in a fucking Western.
For me, it's not weird seeing it in this kind of Western.
No, in this kind of Western, yeah, it kind of made sense. And this is a very... Like, kind of modern Western.
This is a Hollywood Western. Yeah. I mean...
But it is, for me, it's just kind of weird seeing that in a Western. You show it to me in a war movie, I'm not going to blink twice. Like, especially a modern war movie.
Just think of this movie as serious Blazing Saddles. Denzel Washington is helping out Rock Ridge.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, and here's one thing, like, you talk about, like, combining different kinds of Westerns. In a way, it kind of does, in the sense that, well, what we mentioned earlier, and also the fact that Denzel Washington looks exactly like and is dressed exactly like Fred Williamson from his 70s Westerns. Yeah. And that can't be a coincidence.
No, it really can't. I mean, like, it's like, let's just dress them all in black and give them a black horse. And Denzel's great in it, too, but it's one of those things that it's like, I'm a history guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love reading history books and about history. It's just, to me, it was really weird that, like, there was a Mexican joke. There was some Native American things going on. No one ever mentions that he's black. Not once.
He's the leader, and he's got 2 guns.
And I do believe we should live in a colorblind society now. But, 140 years ago, it wasn't the fucking case, man.
No, it wasn't, but again, and this isn't a historical film.
No, it's
This is
not.
a Hollywood action film. It's not...
But I find it a little distracting. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that Denzel was the lead. I just find it a little distracting that no one mentions it.
Oh, that
not even
the closest that
and it doesn't need the Django. Everyone mentions it.
No, the closest this movie comes is when he rides into town and they're all giving him dirty looks and like.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that was more the fact that he was the stranger riding into town.
The black stranger riding into town. I could see hate in their eyes.
I think it was more fear than hate.
Well, look, how racist is this town going to be towards him? Like, they got Peter Skarsgård to deal with. Like, they have other things to deal with right now.
I know. And like I said, it shouldn't be a sticking point with me, but for some reason, just... it stuck out to me, you know?
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point in that, like, it is funny how everyone's kind of kidding each other around about race in this, whether it's the Native American, whether it's the Mexican guy. But yeah, that is true. Really, no one's joshing Denzel in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he is paying them.
Yeah.
No,
he's not paying them. Someone else is paying them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you know.
Were there Native American... In the Yulebrenner one...
Dude, it's been so long since I've seen that shitty fucking movie.
I couldn't remember if one... It's been a while since I've seen it, too. It's probably been about 20 years or more. 15, 20 years. I'm trying to think if any of them in that movie were, like... if one of them was supposed to be Mexican or one of them was supposed to be Native American. I mean, given when the movie was made, like, I'm sure one of the white cast members might have been playing a Native American.
Yeah, it was Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay, yeah. Exactly, it was Steve... No, Steve McQueen was black.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Forgot.
That's right.
He's just really, really tan. He was still really, really blonde, but...
See, it should be, they got the remake of Westworld coming out, or the TV remake. It should be Denzel Washington playing the robot cowboy in that, because that's what they did with the original Westworld. It was Yul Brynner dressed up like his character from Magnificent Seven.
Oh, man. I don't think they can afford him. Although I think they did get Anthony Hopkins for the TV Westworld.
He's the one who's, like, in charge of the whole thing. The robot cowboy, I think, is Ed Harris, which that's pretty cool.
Anything with Ed Harris is okay in my book a little bit, you know?
I'm down with that. I'm totally
like, even the
down with
worst
that.
movies that have Ed Harris in them, at least they have Ed Harris.
Like Walker.
Yeah. At least Ed Harris is
Right,
in it.
Ed Harris was still in it. Right on. Would you recommend this at all? Like, in some capacity?
If that classic Western thing is your thing, then maybe. But in my opinion, if you want to go see, like, a good Western right now, if it's still playing, go see Hell or High Water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lord, yeah.
Like, and... yeah, and I only think this movie even got made because there's a little bit of a resurgence in Westerns right now, but there's so many better ones that have been made in the past 10 years that are worth seeing.
There are. And, you know, the cinematography in this movie is really good. But, I mean, it's really good in that he's seen a lot of Westerns before. He kind of knows where to point the camera when the sunset is happening. I much preferred the cinematography in Hell or High Water. I much preferred that movie in general. And this does have really gorgeous scenery in it. It does.
It does, but at the same time, it's... I found that maybe it was the screen we're seeing on. I don't know. I found a lot of the big shots. They shot them so brightly and with so much color, which it's great seeing color in a movie. Don't get me wrong, but it was almost like too much, and got to the point where I didn't think it was, but some of the shots kind of looked like CG to me.
I didn't get that impression. I mean, I don't know, but like
I could tell it wasn't CG, but I got that like it just had that look to it where it's like this is almost like it doesn't quite look real, you know?
Well, they were beautiful shots to me. I never really thought that they didn't look real. My thing about them was more that as beautiful as they are, a lot of the shots in this, there were some of them when it would happen that didn't necessarily feel like it was happening organically. Just sort of like, here's a scene, And now here's this really cool shot that the second unit people shot the other day.
Like,
and
this movie was, what, 2 hours and something?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, they could have easily cut, if they were just cutting the fat with scenes that really didn't have anything to do with anything other than the idea of being pretty. This could have been a tight hour-and-a-half movie.
Honestly, it didn't feel like it was over 2 hours to me. I was entertained by it.
It felt long to me.
Did it?
Yeah.
I
wasn't that
pretty
entertained by it. Like,
I was
just waiting for Vincent D'Onofrio to come back on and be a weird, religious man-child bear guy.
No, I was entertained enough by it. If classic Western is your style of Western, then you'll really like this movie. My dad will really like this movie. I thought it was fine. For me personally, it'd be worth seeing on like a matinee or something like it, because the cinematography is good, as non-organic as a lot of it feels. It does, to me anyway, it did look good on the big screen.
And I'd say it's, I can't suggest seeing it on the big screen. I really can't. But I mean, as a rental or a Netflix watch or something, yeah, then sure, absolutely watch it. There's nothing inherently terrible about it. It's just honestly not my taste. That's really what, it's just not my taste.
Yeah, even like let's say I saw this and you didn't. Yeah, I would probably be like, you might want to stay away from this one, maybe. Like, at least seeing it in the theater. I don't know, maybe you'd have a funner time with it watching it on Netflix.
And that's a possibility. Like, there are a lot of things that sometimes, like, movies that I'm not overly impressed with in the theater, if I go back and watch them later at TV at my own leisure. I think sometimes it's a better experience. It's just, it depends, But no, all in all, I just don't think it was my taste. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it's, the worst thing to come out.
God Lord, now.
But no,
God.
it's not my taste.
Well, we just gotta wait and see if they make those sequels, because the original had sequels, like Return of the Seven, and there might have been another one. I can't remember.
The Magnificent Eight.
Yeah. They had to hire several more people though, because there were people in the original who died.
All I can say is at least they remade the Magnificent Seven, and they didn't try and remake the fucking Seven Samurai with a multiracial cast. I would have been upset about that shit.
They're not gonna remake Seven Samurai.
With Keanu Reeves.
Sweet, and with Denzel in there. Just bring the whole cast from Much Ado About Nothing back.
No, yeah, there's better westerns, and if you want to see a better Denzel Washington western, watch Book of Eli.
Yeah, well, that movie kind of falls apart towards the end, but overall,
I liked that movie. It's fun.
Yeah, it's
not
got good stuff about it.
A genius movie, but it's fun.
No, yeah, it's the Magnificent Seven. You probably know already whether or not you want to see this movie. If you're sold on the trailers, you like it. Trailers
I liked the trailers a whole lot more than I liked the movie.
Really? The trailers I thought looked like this movie.
They did. This movie was just 2 hours long.
It was just 2 hours.
It was nothing but the trailers extended. That's all it was.
It was just 2 hours longer than the trailer.
Exactly.
All right. I don't know what next week is. Sorry. See ya.